in terms of preparing for Q4, there are some basics which businesses still miss. One of them is the speed of their website. So there's a statistic from some Google research from, I think, 2018, which says 50% of your traffic will leave your site if it takes over 3 seconds to load. And there are lots of businesses, large businesses, big brands that still haven't got speedy websites. And there are very simple fixes for these websites. So there's a free test you can conduct. If you type in test my site with Google on the Google platform, you can actually go in and you can check the speed of your site on a mobile device. And there's actually a free report which will tell you how to speed up your website. But this is really crucial. You've got to consider that this is going to be a very competitive period. You have experienced businesses that have been running campaigns for Black Friday and Christmas and New Year's for years. And you have a bunch of new businesses that have never done this before. This is their first quarter online. And so what we are expecting is, with more people advertising, naturally, we do expect cost per clicks to be higher. So you really have to make the most out of your marketing budget. You want it to be as effective as possible. And as much as you can spend all this money driving traffic to a website, if it's a poor user experience, if it's slow, it's a waste. So that's one of the first things you should do. And this is, something you can do right now for free. Go and find out the speed of your website. You want to get that as fast as possible. Under 3 seconds should be the benchmark. Next, a common thing that we see across our customers and actually even new businesses that want to start advertising with us, and that's not being prepared in advance. Set up your deals offers in advance. If you have an agency, communicate it early. We always get every year the 1 or 2 customers that on the very last minute will decide they want to run a sale, and putting your agency or in-house team under pressure, asking them to get a lot done very, very quickly, it just leaves room for mistakes. So start thinking right now about what you want to do for Black Friday, for New Year's, for Christmas. Ensure you have the stock, and consider if there is any kind of second lockdown in the town, city that you're in, that's going to generate further demand online. So make sure you have enough stock to capitalize on the opportunity. The next thing is, again, quite simple, but a lot of people don't do it. And that's just get a mystery shop conducted on your own site. Go through it yourself, ask family, ask friends, ask colleagues, and you'll be so surprised by the ways that people navigate your websites differently. There are tools that you can put on your website like Hotjar, so you can actually map how people navigate it. But just by asking friends and family to look at your own website, you'll be able to ask them questions like, are the offers clear across every page on the website? If you're running digital marketing campaigns or email campaigns to drive traffic, you've got to remember that not everyone is going straight to the home page where you might have banners all over it. Some people are going straight to product pages or other pages on the site. So you need to make sure those offers are everywhere. You need to see how quickly were you able to find what you were looking for. So there are going to be people that are going to be looking to buy gifts, for example, for the Christmas season. How easy is it for them to navigate your website when they search, for example, for products? Does that search function work correctly? When they are browsing through categories, is it easy for them to navigate? Then there's things like delivery information, returns information. Is all of that really easy for people to find and digest? And then another big one is the checkout process. What is the feedback on your checkout? Is it too long? Is it easy to do on a mobile? Is your site responsive so that the text is even readable and legible on a mobile device? So this is a really easy, simple thing that you can get people to help you with, and you'll get a lot of insight out of that. Then I wouldn't expect to have to say this in 2020, but there are still businesses that launch digital marketing campaigns and they have no tracking set up whatsoever, which means you're not collecting any data on the products, on the keywords, on the audiences that are delivering sales and revenue for you. So you've got to make sure conversion tracking is set up. And just last week, I spoke to a business that's been running campaigns for months and months. They were under the assumption the conversion tracking was set up. And, you know, going into the campaigns, I can see actually it's not pulling any data through. So sometimes you might think your conversion tracking set up, but conduct an actual test transaction. Make sure you are capturing not just the conversion, which would usually be a sale, but you're also pulling through the sale value, because you want to know if you're running campaigns and you're targeting different audiences or different keywords, you want to know how much revenue is coming from that audience or that keyword, not just see a sale, because that information isn't good enough. You need to know where you're getting the best return on your advertising spend. Next, I want to talk about measuring your performance, because what I've seen over the years is a lot of businesses hold themselves back. And what they're looking at is there's two different things that you can measure, and there's efficiency and there's effectiveness. Now, efficiency measures the success of your process and how well you've set up your campaigns, but effectiveness measures the contributions your marketing strategies have actually made to the business overall. Marketing campaigns, is a quote from a professor of marketing in the Melbourne Business School. Marketing campaigns are generally becoming less effective, and ironically, that's because they're actually focusing purely on return on investment. And return on investment is a measure of efficiency. It's not a measure of total effectiveness. When we talk about measuring your return on investment, we're talking about someone going into a platform or a campaign they're running. So for example, going into a Google Ads campaign and saying, I spent this much on that campaign and this is what I got back. And they're only looking at the direct contribution to revenue. Interestingly, YouTube, we know the power of YouTube. We know it's one of the biggest platforms in the world. And we know there are millions of people watching videos on there every day, but 56% of businesses in the UK actually switch off their YouTube campaigns because they see on the platform, I spent money, how many direct sales did I get from it? And that's often very low. It doesn't look efficient, and they switch those campaigns off. And they're forgetting to look at the overall impact of having campaigns running on YouTube, the brand awareness, the people that will come back to your website directly or through another source. The ideal conversion path for any business is people just coming straight to your website and you're not paying a penny for it. But that's not the reality of the world that we live in. There are multiple touch points. And think about your own journeys on websites every single day. Think about the amount of websites you visit. How many do you buy from on the first visit, immediately, without consulting anyone else, without checking other websites, without reading reviews, without looking on YouTube for those video reviews as well? It's a long, convoluted user journey, and this is what it actually looks like. So people are going through multiple channels, multiple visits before they make their decisions to purchase. And actually, you can see what this is like for your own websites. If you go onto the analytics platform, it can actually show you these user journeys and the different sources and ways people get to your site and how they behave. Now, businesses using 3 or more channels, they usually enjoy purchase and engagement rates 250% higher than single channel campaigns. So a lot of businesses I speak to will only be running one platform. It would just be Google Ads or Facebook or Microsoft Ads. And actually, when you use all 3 together, you can get better results. But what usually happens is a business will say, well, Google is working better. We switched Facebook off and we invested more money into that platform. And it's because they're looking at efficiency and not effectiveness. Now, a good marketing campaign is a campaign that considers the full funnel, the entire user journey of what it takes for someone to make a purchase decision. And companies who approach marketing with a full funnel approach in mind, they see a 450% increase in the prospects, 50% more sales at a 33% lower cost. Now, we're in a difficult time. There are businesses that are struggling. There are businesses that have just launched and have something to prove. And there are businesses that maybe, for example, have targets from investors they need to achieve. So there tends to be a shift, and people start to focus all of their efforts on action and forget that just because we're in a difficult time, that doesn't change what good marketing is and what an efficient campaign and an effective campaign is. So let's just talk through the different stages and how you measure them. When we're measuring a multi-channel strategy and we're employing a full funnel marketing approach, first of all, from an awareness perspective, there are campaigns that we want to run just to make people aware of the brand, just to get them familiar, so that they recognize us. And when you're running awareness campaigns, you're not expecting someone to buy from you immediately from that campaign. It's the first time they're coming across you. So what you want to measure here is how many unique visitors are you attracting via the different channels? How much does it cost to get them there? And if you want to measure how good your awareness campaign is, look at what people do on your website. Okay, we drove 15,000 clicks to a page on our website. What did those people do? How long did they spend on the website? What pages did they visit? Did they sign up for a newsletter? What actions did they take? Not just did they buy on that very first visit. We're looking at the engagement. So this is particularly important on channels like Facebook and Instagram as well. Are people commenting? Are they sharing? Are they liking? What are they doing on the website? Because once we make people aware of the brand, we then have to show them reasons why they should take action. And that's where you create the interest and you create the desire to promote that action at the end. When it comes to conversions, we need to look at the conversion rate across the different channels, but we also need to look at the entire user journey. So again, you can get reports from Google Analytics that will show you assisted conversions. And this means someone has found you, for example, from a Google or Microsoft Ads campaign, but they then come back to the site later organically. They might have then followed you on Facebook and come back through a Facebook campaign, but it's really important to look at that entire user journey. And then a lot of businesses will look at their campaigns and say, I spent X and I got Y back. And what they're not considering is the lifetime value. When you acquire a brand new customer, how many more times are they going to purchase from you, and how often are they going to purchase, and at what values are they going to purchase? It's really important to start measuring the loyalty of your customers and making assumptions that although it costs me X to acquire a customer who spent Y on their first transaction, this is the potential lifetime value. And that should really affect and change the targets and what you predict it will cost to actually acquire that new customer over time. So the usual measure of marketing effectiveness is people usually tend to focus strictly on efficiency. What did I spend? What did I get back? How much direct revenue did I get from this channel? But the true measure of marketing effectiveness is what is our return on investment in terms of increasing overall business gross profit? When I run a YouTube campaign, 3 months down the line, am I seeing more people search for my brand on Google, come to my website directly and purchase from me? How much has our actual total business revenue increased, and how much did that cost? And that's what you really want to start measuring. So instead of only measuring the specific channel efficiency, you really need to start looking at your total marketing effectiveness, which is driven by overall efficiency. So now let's go into some best practices across the different platforms. Now, the first thing to note is everything you do on a paid search campaign usually comes down to 2 metrics. Even when you're testing different adverts and you're measuring the percentage of people that click on those adverts, what that actually results in is getting a higher click-through rate. It brings down your cost per click. Getting good quality traffic increases the likelihood of getting a conversion. So the 2 metrics that we always look at are the cost per click, how much is it costing me to get someone to my website, and the conversion rate. And the conversion can be whatever metric you set. Typically for e-commerce, it's going to be a sale. And those are the 2 metrics that you can influence on these platforms. There will be a limit to how low you can get that cost per click. And the cost per click that you pay, it's a measure of different things. So the limits are in place because you're in an auction, you're bidding against other people. So there's only so low it's going to get. You're looking at the choice of keywords, the choice of audiences, how good your ads are performing. All of that affects your cost per click. And then there's the conversion rate, which is affected by 2 things. It's affected by the quality of traffic that you're sending to your website. So are you targeting the right audiences, the right keywords, and so on? But it's also that user experience, how people navigate your site too. Now, we talked earlier about smart shopping. And Google and Microsoft Ads both have shopping functions. Facebook has a shopping function as well. But Google and Microsoft Shopping, there is a lot of automation happening in our industry, and marketing automation actually leads to a 53% increase in leads, and 79% of companies who have used marketing automation for 2 years plus are top performers in their industry. Now, when it comes to Google and Microsoft shopping campaigns, the way that these work is they're reading a product feed from your website. They look at that product feed, and in there it's got your descriptions, your titles for your products. That determines what you are going to show up for when people are searching online. So for any generic keyword search, like for example, white t-shirt, Google and Microsoft will read your product feed and decide which product should show at what times to which people. You don't get to control necessarily what you're appearing here for. And the new automated bidding strategies on Google, there's a few different ways you can run your shopping campaign. So there's completely manually, where you control everything, the bids, and the different products that you want to target. And then there are the automated bidding strategies. So it's a manual campaign, but you get to choose the bidding strategy, and you can bid for a specific target return on advertising spend or a specific target cost per acquisition. The acquisition in this case would be a sale. Then there is the smart shopping, which is completely automated. You're giving all the control over to the platform itself. And we've seen fantastic results from it. So introducing smart shopping over an 18-month period for one of our customers led to over 500K revenue for that particular retailer. The challenge with smart shopping is a lot of agencies have switched to smart shopping for their customers, and that's it. And they kind of see it as, well, everything goes to the platform now, we don't need to do any work on our side. But actually, you can influence your smart shopping campaign. And if your agency's switched all of your campaigns completely to smart shopping, then what they should be doing is looking at your product feed, because that is determining what you show up for. And optimizing that, make sure you appear for the most relevant terms, make sure the right products are showing up. That can influence the smart shopping performance. There are also other things and considerations to take into account when running smart shopping campaigns. When you run a smart shopping campaign and the focus is getting a cost per conversion or a target return on advertising spend, what it will do is it will focus on the products that are performing. So let's say you have 100 products, 2 are doing really well. It's naturally going to drive the visibility of those 2 products, which means if you put on a special offer on other products, if you introduce new products onto your website, or if you have stock that you're just eager to shift, smart shopping's not going to do that for you. So a common thing I see is everyone puts all of their products in a single smart shopping campaign, and that's not necessarily the best way to do it. Having different product categories and using smart shopping and having a campaign per category can often work better. And with smart shopping campaigns, we are an advocate of them. We do encourage all our customers to start using it, excuse me, and testing it, but actually it doesn't always work for everyone. Smart shopping, what we tend to do is we look at a product category which is performing well and see if we can continue to improve that performance, or we look at product categories which are struggling and we switch those to smart shopping. Really, when you're running any kind of digital marketing campaign, you've got to be prepared to be constantly testing. So we also have examples where we had smart shopping campaigns in place, but we introduced standard shopping campaigns alongside them, and we were able to get a better result from doing that. So there's not a one size fits all strategy for businesses out there. You've got to be testing different things. The other thing to bear in mind is if you switch everything to a single smart shopping campaign, if results drop off, there is nothing you can do about it, because everything is being run by the platform. So we recommend testing different strategies to figure out what works best for your business. And even 2 businesses in the exact same industry, they're going to get different results because it's different people going to your websites. You've got different website experiences, different products, different prices. So I would never really benchmark against everybody else in your industry. You really want to be benchmarking against yourself and improving your own performance over time. A quick win. So most people, when I mention Microsoft ads, I'll be honest with you, we're a Microsoft ads elite partner. We've seen the power of the platform. And when I speak to people about Microsoft, they just say, oh, do people really use that? And it has 20% market share now. And in the US, it's even bigger. So Microsoft ads, what we typically see is when you set up a Microsoft ad campaign, you get 10% of the revenue you get from a Google ads campaign. So it's a really quick win. If you're running Google ad campaigns and you're not on Microsoft, it's so easy and simple to get set up and start generating money. And earlier the research showed, there's been a big boom in people over 45 buying online, and actually people of that age group tend to use platforms like Bing to search. There's a higher proportion of older people using that platform. So it's a really quick win, and this is something that we can help you with. I'll talk to you more about this at the end of the presentation. Now let's just talk about Facebook and Instagram. So a big thing on Facebook is the structure of your campaigns, because a lot of people try to put all of their budget across too many different things, and you really want to make sure you structure your campaigns properly. Now with Facebook, Facebook does a lot of the work for you in terms of finding the right people. So you really want to have quite a simplified structure. You want to be able to make sure that you separate things out into different categories, into different audiences, but you don't want to go too granular and split your budget too thinly. So when people say, how many campaigns should I have? How many different audiences should I test in a single campaign? What we really need to understand is what budget are you working with first, so that we're not diluting it too much. But the platform really is set up to find the right audiences for you. And with Facebook, what a lot of people are not taking advantage of is automatic strategies. So what you can set up on Facebook is rules, and you can say, if, for example, I have a daily budget on a campaign of $50, and if that campaign that particular day is absolutely flying and we're getting sales at a very, very low cost per sale, why should that campaign be capped at $50? If people are all of a sudden buying and you're getting great sales at a low cost, would you want your campaign to just switch off when you hit the $50 benchmark? What you can set up are automatic rules, so that if, for example, you are seeing a target cost per acquisition, if you're achieving a cost per acquisition of under $10, automatically increase my budget to capitalize on that opportunity. And you can also do the same thing if you want to save money as well. So you can also say, well, if a campaign has spent X and I've got 0 purchases, switch it off or reduce my bids. So there's a lot of this that you can put in place to really make sure your marketing is as efficient as possible. When we are running campaigns on Facebook, what we do is we understand who are we targeting, because Facebook gives us a lot of data on people. We can target by job title, by job industry. We can target by similar brands people like or where else they shop. We can even go right down to their personality. So what kind of TV shows or movies do they watch? What kind of publications do they read? What areas do they live in? There's a way to really identify the persona of a customer who you want to target and to run campaigns reaching those people. So what we recommend is testing around 5, what we call is avatars, 5 new avatars per month, refining them, understanding where the key audience overlaps are, and then scaling those campaigns to get a better return on advertising spend. Other things that you can do on Facebook, so what you really want to use is your first party data. If you have an email database, you can upload that email database into the platform. You can start targeting those audiences with Black Friday, with Christmas sale, New Year's sale messages. And when it comes to your email database, you can segment that. If you have the ability to, you can say, well, I don't want to just target everyone that I have in my email database, because some of those people are people that have just signed up to a newsletter, but they never buy from me. So you can segment that and say, well, let's target the people that purchase from me, or let's target the people that purchase most frequently, or the people that purchase and they spend the most money. So there's lots of different ways you can segment and set up specific campaigns for those different audiences. And this is just an example of a customer with a database of 5,000 people. They increased their return on advertising spend by 42% by just simply uploading that database into the platform and targeting those people with messages. Then what's really powerful is the lookalike audiences. So telling the Facebook platform, go and find me people just like this. So you can be uploading your own email database and saying, here are my top purchasers. Can you find me people who are statistically similar to them in terms of their demographic, their locations they live in, and the things that they're interested in? And then you can do this within your existing campaign. So you can say, of all the traffic going to my website, I want to create a lookalike audience of everyone who has purchased from me. So there's lots of different ways that you can use a lookalike audience, and it shouldn't, again, just be conversion based. When you're running top of the funnel campaigns and you're running an awareness campaign, say, if you have a video and you've pushed that video out to people and you want them to watch it, what you can then do to continue to build the top of your funnel is say, right, I launched a video, I had 20,000 people watch it, and I'm going to market to those people and bring them down the funnel. But how do I make more people aware and continue to fill that? Well, let's take the people that watched over 80% of my video. They were clearly engaged and interested, and let's do a lookalike audience of those people to continue to fill that funnel. Another example of us using that lookalike audience in real life. So we used it for a jewelry company that we worked with and had a return on advertising spend of 400%. And for anyone that's not familiar with that term, that means for every pound or dollar that we spend, we're getting 4 times back. Ad testing, and this isn't just on Facebook, this is on Google, on Microsoft as well. Even on your email marketing, you want to be testing at all times. And what we're testing here is lots of different things. So in terms of a platform like Facebook or Instagram, we're testing short videos, long videos, different types of images, images that appeal to different age groups, different testimonials or ads about the product, reviews, for example. We're testing lots of different audiences. So you're testing those custom audiences, the lookalike audiences, people interested in different things. Then there's the different places that you can put your adverts on the platforms. And then with a platform like Facebook, it naturally has different objectives. So every time you set up a campaign, you can choose, should this campaign focus on conversion? Should it focus on traffic, leads, video views? So there is so much that you can A/B test. You really want to have a planning strategy of how you're going to test these different things, how long you're going to measure this for, what is the next test after. So when I have 2 adverts that I test against one another, when I can clearly see one advert is working better than the other, I need to pause the one that's not working, but then I need to make a new one based on the one that is working. Or I might want to test something completely different and see how that performs. But this is an ongoing process. And the better your ads are performing, usually there are some lower cost per click benefits from good ad performance. And lowering that cost per click, that's going to help improve that cost per acquisition. An example of ad testing, so testing various messages and new ad formats, we increase the click-through rate, which is the percentage of people that click on our ad over somebody else's, from 0.92% to 4.8%. And we reduce the cost per clicks from 36 pence to 7 pence. And you can see, there's not anything hugely different about those adverts. It's just different text. The images are very similar. If you were to look at them side by side, you wouldn't think they're that different, but they produce such a different result. So it's really important to be testing all the time if you're running any kind of digital marketing campaign to get the most out of it. Stories, so if you're running campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, stories have much lower cost per impressions. In 2019, the cost per impression has decreased by 39% year on year by using Instagram stories for one of our customers. And we started distributing more budget. And when you're running campaigns on Facebook, I should mention, they automatically can be run on Instagram. So the 2 platforms go hand in hand. And you have the ability to actually say, I'm seeing a better performance on Instagram, I'd like to shift more budget there, and vice versa. Then there is remarketing. So as I mentioned earlier, when you think about your behavior online, you don't necessarily purchase the first time on every single website that you go to. And we are busy people. We have busy lives. We have 101 things that we're trying to do. Probably a lot of you on this webinar that are working in marketing or running your own businesses, have been struggling to keep up. And it's a pandemic and there's so much going on that we do need to be reminded of things from time to time. And this is where remarketing comes into play. So First of all, I want to mention exit overlays. When you are remarketing to people, that goes beyond just banners. That also includes sending out email messages to them as well. So if you want to build your email list, one of the things you can do is have an overlay that pops up. And, actually, I was asked this question the other day, what do you think of pop-ups? And everyone was in agreement that they're disruptive, but that is their purpose. They are there to disrupt. Recommendations on pop-ups is don't do it as soon as someone's got to your website. Imagine you've never been to this website before, and the first thing you're greeted with is sign up to our newsletter or our email list. Well, why? I don't know anything about you. I don't even know if I want to buy from you yet. So there's no incentive for me to buy from you and sign up to give you my details and sign up for your newsletter straight away. There are different statistics out there, but most people would agree you want to give people, some time to look at your site. So some people might tell you 10 seconds. I actually prefer personally, and what I've seen work well for some customers is when you have this pop-up appear, only if they are leaving the site without taking action. And you can set pop-ups for different pages. So if someone abandons the basket, for example, I can have a pop-up to say, here's a voucher code to just encourage them to go back and finish that purchase. If someone is leaving my site and they haven't purchased anything at all, I can say, sign up to our newsletter for more information about new products and so on. That's going to help you build your email list to continue to email market to people over this period. Now, when it comes to remarketing, what remarketing is doing is everyone that goes to your website, it's building a list of all of those visitors, and you can then retarget those people. So when they are browsing other websites, when they are on YouTube or looking at articles online, when they're just browsing their own Facebook and Instagram platforms, you can be showing them ads, reminding them of your brand. And the typical thing that I see everyone doing, years ago, people weren't doing remarketing at all. I still see people not utilizing it. But the main thing that people do is they just say, everyone that's been to my site, when they leave, I want them to see a banner that says 20% off everywhere they go. And they spend money on that remarketing campaign and they target everyone equally. Well, the people that come to your site are not equal. There are people that came to your website and they left after 5 seconds. And there are people that came to your website, they browsed several products. There are people that came and added something to the basket. And there are people that came and bought from you. So segment your remarketing lists according to your most valuable audiences, the people that you really want to go after. So that way, if you want to target the people that didn't spend too long, but you want to let them know, well, now there's a special offer, maybe you'll be more interested, you can control the budget, you can control how much you spend and what you bid for those people. But for those people that abandoned the basket and they were this close to purchasing from you, you can be really aggressive with those people, and you can tailor the messages according to where they are at in their user journey. You can tailor it to the pages they engage with on your website. There is a thing called dynamic remarketing, which will show people exactly what products they were viewing as just that constant reminder to, encourage them to treat themselves or to purchase that gift that they were looking to get for somebody else. And the power of remarketing is incredible. So we have a golfing holiday brand introduce remarketing and increase the volume of inquiries by 318%. I should also mention with remarketing, you're not paying for people just to look at your ad, you pay for the clicks. So if no one clicks on your advert, that's absolutely fine. You've just got a free internet billboard out there, which is getting you brand awareness whenever your audiences are browsing online. What you can see from the campaigns, if someone has witnessed and viewed your remarketing ad, but then come back later via another channel. So you can measure that as well. And then finally, let's talk about Amazon as a platform. So Amazon's growth has been incredible, and a lot of businesses are now looking at their Amazon strategies and how they can get going on that platform. And I just wanted to give you some quick tips on how to optimize your Amazon listings if you are running campaigns on there, or if you are listing products on there. So first of all, to optimize on Amazon organically, there's 9 product image spaces for each product. Use all of them. If you have your listing, there are 5 bullet points for each product, which you can put in place. Use all of that space. Insert keywords that are going to help you be found on the search results. Make sure you've got a buy now box, because that can restrict sales by as much as 60 to 70%, especially on mobile devices. And in your description, you've got space for up to 2,000 characters. So use it. Don't have just a really brief description. Use that, insert relevant keywords, boost your page rankings. With Amazon, you have the option to actually be brand registered. And what that does is it lets you use images in your product descriptions. You can also use charts and compare and link to other products you sell. So it's a much more aesthetically pleasing experience for people on Amazon. I think it gives some recognition to the brand as well when you're able to put images in your description and just look better than all of your competitors online. And you can also build a storefront as well. So it gives your brand more credibility, it gives a better user experience. Sellers that opt for brand registry actually convert up to 30% more. So just showing you before and after optimization. So this is an example of before for a detox cappuccino, green coffee. And this is what the description, product information all look like. And this is what it looked like after optimization. Using all of the product spaces, having better descriptions with more keyword visibility. And this was the description section here. A lot more images, a lot more information, giving yourself and your brand more credibility, more of a reason for people to buy from you. And this is the branded storefront page. Finally, with Amazon, a lot of people have gotten listed on the platform, but they're not appearing at the top of the search results. Now, unlike Google, which is trying to make sure people see the most relevant search results, that's what their algorithm is designed to do, to get people to the right places, to make sure they find the information they're looking for. Amazon cares about sales. That's what its algorithm is there to do. So if you're listed on the Amazon platform and you're getting sales and you're getting reviews, your organic position will start to increase. Well, when you run a paid advert, what happens is you're at the top of the page, you're driving more sales because you've got that premium spot position. And that automatically, that increase in sales you get from paid ads helps you lift those organic positions. And actually, 28.5% of sales on that platform are preceded by a sponsored ad click. You don't actually need to spend a lot to test Amazon. You can do it for around 500 to £1,000 across your products. You can start with just 50 products and see how that goes. And when it comes to the paid advertising campaigns, it's not too complicated to set up and run. It's quite simple to use if you know what you're doing. So if you're running paid ad campaigns, if you're interested in that, definitely get in touch with me. I'll be able to advise you and help you with that. So that is the end of today's webinar. Now, just some things that you can talk to us about further. Anything when it comes to best practices on these platforms, my email address is on the right-hand side there. Feel free to drop me an email. I'll be happy to give you some advice and talk to you further about best practices that you should be following. And some things that we're doing at the moment to help businesses. First of all, we recognize that so many people are using Google and not using Microsoft ads. It's such a quick win. It's an instant way to drive revenue. And in a lot of cases, you've got lower cost per clicks, less competition on that platform. So we're actually offering a free setup on Microsoft ads, and we'll include some vouchers to spend as well if you're interested in simply making more money. Building your email list, if you'd like an exit overlay, you can talk to us about how to use them and how to implement those on your site, and we can design them for you as well. If you are looking at today's webinar and thinking there's a lot to do and you'd like to review your digital marketing plans for Q4, again, feel free to get in touch. It's completely free of charge for us to audit any existing digital marketing activity for you. And if you're interested in optimizing your listings or running paid ads on Amazon, we can also help with that. So please feel free to get in touch. There's no obligation to sign up and work with us. We're simply here in this time to help businesses grow. And that's our mission. So thank you very much for attending. Please feel free to get in touch with me, connect with me on LinkedIn, or drop me an email if you need any help or any advice at all.